Hello there, beautiful goddesses of your reality. Welcome back. This is Manifest with Jenny, your alignment and manifestation coach. So I am here to talk about resistance again. And of course, I've done videos in the past about manifestation and resistance and wounds and patterns and exposing all that gunky stuff that goes on within that we've accumulated for years, and to be able to manifest your best life and your abundant, successful life, ladies, because that's what we're going for. Obviously, it's a deep dive into the psyche. And today I have again discovered more about thyself, as I always do, and how I make that applicable within my life, how I make that applicable to my mind, body, heart and spirit in this 3D realm of existence. Well, there you go, that's a mouthful. But today's epiphany, for want of a better word, or to look at it in that way, is I never knew, guys, this is the thing, I never knew I was holding on to this resistance. My brain hadn't sent off the alarm to me, and this is the thing, we're human, we don't realise these things until we realise them. And that's the beauty of it. You know, we can make all these discoveries about ourselves. We can, we can be extremely in tune and intuitive with our mind and our hearts and align with our vision, but we're still going to miss certain things en route. And why wouldn't I have known that I was carrying all this resistance around this topic? It's been the thing that's been that had the most resistance for me for 6 months, way longer. But for this particular circumstance, it's been unfolding for 6 months, and I've been really wanting a certain outcome, feeling like I deserve a certain outcome, been gearing myself up for certain things to happen in my 3D environment. It's something that's very important to me. So of course, this is why we have so much resistance to the things that are so important to us, because it just goes it's like hand in glove. The more importance we place on something, the more we're going to have resistance towards it, the more that it feels so much harder to come into our 3D reality. And this has been the case for me. And I didn't even know that I was holding on, consciously didn't know I was holding on to so much resistance until it was made clear today. And what I mean is, it came in layers today. So it's been a really, as I say, it's not been sitting in the sun, grounding type of day. It's been me sort of catching up on my emails, doing things with regards to my business. It's been, looking through, making payments, doing all the tedious stuff that I've kind of just moved away from for a little moment while I've been here in these moments. And so I did all this, and then obviously I explored the thoughts and feelings that I had about this particular subject today, while I had that time to sort of mentally think about things and be present with, the importance of this. And I was plowing through it, doing certain login things that I've been doing, always having this in mind. And then I got an email which was very important to this circumstance. And before I looked at the email and the body of the email, I said to myself, whatever the outcome of this email, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to press on regardless. Up until that point, I'd very much had in my brain that I wanted a certain outcome excuse me for the noise. People have just come through reception. I've just changed location again because it got particularly noisy. But when I opened this email, up until that point, I'd really been holding on to, I need it to be a certain way. I need it to look like this. I need it to happen that way. And I never, and even articulating it, when I first learned about manifestation, I learned this when I'd listened to the coaches saying this. I needed it to be this way. I needed it to look this way, and I needed it to come through this way. And then I said that to myself when this email came in. And I said, listen, no matter what this email says, that it's going to be what it is and the outcome's going to be good anyway. I'm still going to get the result that I want, but it's just not on my time. And I actually said that because even as a coach, like we don't, even as a coach, we forget, if you get what I mean. We can't be conscious about these things all the time. You know, we're living and existing, and we're not just walking around like machines going, yep, that's resistance that's coming up. So I did this naturally, just feeling it was the right time to just say, that's it now. Like, I've done everything. I've done everything that I possibly can with this situation and for this situation. There's nothing that I've done that's wrong. It's not anything that I could have changed or done anything different. So whatever the outcome, it's like out of my hands to that degree, and I've got to just flow with it. And then I opened up the email, and the email wasn't as positive as how I wanted it a certain way. One wasn't bad in the sense that the job could still be done, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the date. It wasn't the way I wanted it. It wasn't like that from this email. And so I sat there, and it was almost like I think I'd been prepping myself for it not being a positive or not being the way that I wanted it to be anyway. And I don't mean I started looking at things pessimistically. What I mean is that I'd started to already change my thought processes to accommodate other ways of looking at this. And it wasn't that it was going to be a negative outcome, whichever way I looked at it, if that makes sense. But I'd sort of just allowed myself to be more flowy with it. And so it was, you know, it was the way that it was. And then so I took my time to process it. I got a little bit of a plan in order with it not being the perfect outcome. And I just threw it to saying that that's it. Like, it's still going to work out for me, but it's just nothing the way that I wanted it to. But at this moment in time, nothing's telling me it's going to be that way. But it is, and there's nothing else I can do, and it's still going to be good. And then, so I sent out some more emails, just like sort of explaining that, you know, it wasn't, you know, that we've got to do things a different way. It's got to be a different sort of outcome from the times and that type of thing. And then I sat back and I just rested, and just knowing that that's it. Like, and as it turns out, it's not that bad. It's just like I needed to just think about another way of doing this, and you know, everything's okay. And then within an hour, the best outcome that I wanted presented itself to me, when it was the opposite to the best outcome, if that makes sense. And my mind was like, where the bloody hell has that come from? And how could that have come from that situation an hour ago? to then turning around for it to be this situation now. There's no way that that should have been the way that it was, but it did. And that is the beauty of manifestation. And the beauty of manifestation was because I let go of resistance. And it wasn't that, that I'd put, it would have probably come in before this time if I would have just known that I was holding so much resistance and I couldn't have it any other way. It couldn't be any other way than the way that I saw it and the way I wanted it. And as it turned out, that when I let go of it being that way, it came in exactly how I wanted it. And then I realised as soon as it came in the way that I wanted it, it highlighted to me what I'd been doing, but not before that point. So it's very encryptive as in what the circumstances are, because that's not the point. The point is, this is what we do with important circumstances within our life. And we hold such resistance and such expectations of these things. And then if we just let that go and just say, it's going to be okay anyway, either way, I've got to let go of control. It's the resistance that's holding it back from coming in. So that's what I realised. And now I'm just like, for God's sake, Jen, why did you do that to yourself? But it's just meant to be now. It's meant to be this time now, because I couldn't have realised that I was holding on to all that resistance before now, if that makes sense. Will I keep saying that? Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Well, I'm just really pleased, and I wanted to, and then the other thing was that I never had any inspiration for a video today. I didn't have anything coming. I was like, well, what am I going to do for tonight's video? Because, you know, I like to be inspired to do a video. No, what am I going to do tonight? Like, I don't feel like I've got anything to inspire me. And this just appeared, and bang, not only have I got something to celebrate while I'm here, but I've also got this beautiful video that inspired me to talk about this subject. So thank you, Day. Thank you for having hailed this beat today and grounding me to be in these moments. I love you. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully on the balcony, because it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. So I love you, ladies, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.